Welcome back, Dodecadorks, to the Crystal Codex Chapter 9, now with level 12 characters.
Woo!
We are the 12-sided guys.
Yeah, we are.
We have Matt playing Pine,
Hi.
Scott playing Roos,
That's me.
Sabrina playing Nari,
Hey there.
Jordan playing Richter,
Good evening.
and me, Paul, the guy who's even more excited for the new D&D movie since learning that Auntie Donna did some of the character voices. So, in honor of my favorite Australian comedy group today, I'll be practicing my Australian accent.
They play corpses.
Yes.
Yeah.
So today I'll be practicing my Australian accent for the rest of this intro.
Oh, nice.
G'day, mates. Don't forget about our Patreon for maps, character sheets, and bonus content.
It's uncanny. Paul, your accent is Bonzer.
Oh, I forgot about that one. And crikey, we've got a shop where you can get Dodecadork drip. You can even buy a Kagery Stein, perfect for holding your Fosters, Australian for beer. Okay, maybe that one's too old.
You're fine.
Here's what I realized. I realized that when I'm writing these jokes, I have one audience, and that audience is Matt. Good day. If you want to hang out on...
Did you just say good day? You're nailing it. Wait, is that Bluey's dad I hear?
Well, I sometimes stream on Twitch. I stream my campaign building experience. Australian toaster biscuits. They taste great.
This is just Ripper.
It's real Ripper.
And crikey, your ratings and reviews are always welcome, mates. Maybe the dingo ate your baby. It's probably just a wallaby. Anyway, mates, if you ever finished playing Final Fantasy 2/4 and then proceeded to write fan fiction about what happened afterward, including pages and pages of drawings, but then found out later that there actually is a continuation of the story in video game format, and your ideas and predictions were way off,
I was way off.
then you might just be my brother Matt, and this podcast is for you. It's the Crystal Codex, episode 105.
It's like Steve Irwin was in the room.
Yes. The thing is, I can actually kind of do an Australian accent. Foster's, Australian for beer. Does anyone else remember? I know Matt remembers Australian toaster biscuits. They taste great.
I do.
Like-
they were just English muffins. They're much fluffier than those hard English things.
They taste like they got butter inside. They taste great. Oh my gosh.
Jeez.
From different ports, 6 airships soar across Pavantis. The first is held aloft by a single patched red balloon, the next by 2 white spheres. The third is small, the fourth sleek, the fifth tubby, while the final looks imposing and built for war. All unique, yet each with the same destination: the heart of the Dead Empire, the largest city on all of Pavantis, the city of Almar. The sleight of frame and late middle-aged magister turned librarian Colbury grips the gunwale aboard the final airship allowed to leave Arkelvy. Citizens of the city had been bracing for the impending Allied siege by Terran's Protectorate, Imperial Wayfield, and Tabery for 2 weeks, after initial word of Tenor's retreat stirred panic in the city. Most who had means had already hunkered down and prepared to ride out the coming storm by collecting food stores, amassing supplies, and offering prayer, and sadly, occasionally banditry. Having exhausted the resources of Arkelvy's library of Cadriel, and realizing he could do more for Pavantis without the city walls than within, Colbury packed his peculiar carpet bag and maneuvered his way through the frightened crowds to the skyport and eventually onto the airship the Albatross's Envy. Now, with Arkelvy behind them, Colbury's growing sense of impending doom stands in stark contrast to the relief and jubilation of the ship's other passengers. As Colbury spends his days at the railing gazing south, his mind grasps at the fleeting hope that there is still time before Iramiel's endgame begins.
Hey, Homer. Wait, who just did Barney?
that was me.
That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
Farther to the west, another airship bobs rhythmically in the wind as it races south. The state of her hastily mended hull, patched balloon, and passengers, the acolytes of Laramie, the Lord of Swords, bespeak the chaotic trek on which she has embarked. Her captain's constant insistence that she needs a dry dock to ensure she's airworthy is repeatedly rebuffed by Master Saman, the leader of said acolytes. "No stopping, our path is south," is his constant refrain. Below deck, Saemon sits in his small bunk and considers the large, lead-lined chest at his feet and the curious gauntlet that rests atop it. The glove's palm is covered in small sheets of lead that slide over each other, dull and heavy. The back of the gauntlet shows the freshly tanned leather. This is an item created for a specific purpose, and recently. Saemon reaches for the gauntlet but pulls back, thinking better of it. "We have a deal," he whispers to himself. "Let that be enough, my lord." Saemon can feel the pull of his master's power gnawing at him, but not from the gauntlet or chest. Secured against the far wall rests the carved stone statue of a demon he brought with him from Marlek. The two blades returned by the man Roos still rest in the statue's clenched fists, but are now joined by 3 more, rescued from the ancient ruin beneath the glass mountains. These peek over the shoulders of the statue, their tips secured into the base and their pommels fanned out like peacock's tail. 2 more, the statue seems to repeat in Saemon's mind. 2 more, south. Saemon's lord is leading them south, straight into Recolia, and if he had to guess, the city of Almar itself.
Sorry if I, set all that in motion.
Flashback to Pine saying, "Don't touch those, they're definitely cursed."
I was already holding like 2 of them.
The massive shadow of the Angel's Might hurtles over trees, fields, and homes as she also sails southward toward the old imperial capital. The figure of Sanya Pine, wiry and battle-hardened, stands at the helm at parade rest, her left arm tucked behind her back, her right hand gripping the wheel. She is known for keeping herself, her ship, and her crew orderly and professional, but now even more her comportment matches her new station as captain of the Queen's flagship. Before her, on the forecastle, regal and deadly, stands Queen Kira herself, gazing south. Nearby, the tall, broad Brinby speaks with the Queen in hushed tones. A third passenger, Bordamus, paces the deck in his immaculate plate armor and cape bearing the symbol of a wilting rose. Back at the helm, Senya has much to be proud of. Her ship and crew dominated the skies during the battle over Wayfield. Her renewed sense of purpose that she has found thanks to her new allies, her apprentice, the man Tristan, who has made significant progress in such a short time, and she thinks looking down at herself as a tear of pride forms in the corners of her eyes, this jacket she now wears in Menorest blue. A small ship speeds through the sky as fast as its propellers will go, the captain grim and determined. Although he is unaware of what has specifically spooked his 4 clients, he feels the growing anxiety amongst them. Within the captain's quarters, these 4 continue their counsel, reviewing the slivers of information and whispers of rumors that have guided them these many months. As their understanding of the wild events taking place throughout Pavantis grows, a plan is beginning to form. In the middle of the floor rests an ornate coffer that initially contained a treasure recovered from the secret facility beneath the sunken city of Adrius. It now contains additional items of importance, and it has been wrapped with strong chains and latched with a very sturdy lock. These treasures that Hop, Bert, Ember, and Artis have uncovered have the potential to turn the tide in the fight against inevitability, but first they must return to Almar with all haste, even as the forces of the angel Iramiel do the same.
I love that that the JV team is forming a plan and is gaining some understanding, because the people playing those characters don't have a plan or understanding. Right?
I think it's kind of, you remember Final Fantasy VIII when like you'd be playing as like Squall and them, and then all of a sudden you'd be playing as the dude with the machine gun,
Laguna,
and like you had no clue what was going on.
So you're saying we're Laguna and his team?
I'm saying you guys are Squall, the JV team is Laguna.
Wait, so is Bert my dad?
I don't remember, how does that work? Was Laguna Squall's dad?
Yeah.
Oh, I that game played through it one time and that was enough for me. Approaching Almar from the south, an airship unlike any other barrels through the clouds. No smell of belching smoke or clatter of clanking cogs accompanying this vessel. In the hold, there's no food nor water either. The captain and crew tend to their duties aboard the Allele Eagle with the ease of seasoned sailors, and the numerous awakened Ormex filling her deck and cabins regard the world below them with wonder, relief, and hope. Daffodil, the captain of the Allele Eagle, guides the ship with composure and skill as her wide-brimmed hat and enormous feather wave in the wind and the sun reflects off her yellow body adorned with white flowers. One more stop, she informs the crew, before we return home to the Kilava. There is still a little room left aboard yet, and whoever cannot fit can be shepherded by Clement, Jessamine, and Marcus overland. just one final stop before home, the city of Almar, to check in with their old friends Pine, Nari, and Roos. And finally, a big tubby tub of an airship, the Brass Butterfly, meanders its way towards the skyport in the city of Almar. Aboard, Pine, Nari, Roos, and Richter return with one more Herald downed, for now, one more ornate key, and just so many unanswered questions.
Yes. Just a tubby tub of a ship tubbing along. Tub.
So you guys, Nari and the Boys 2.0, you guys are aboard the Brass Butterfly. You guys have, let's see, let's do some math. You guys, when you were in the library in Kalinium, you had determined that there were 2 weeks had passed since the death of Amavi. Is that right? That seems right.
We said 14 days, yeah. It's been 2 weeks. Yeah, I remember. We think that's what we sang. Yeah.
After that, you did travel 2 days north to fight Avalan, the Herald of the Earth, and then 2 days back to Kalinium, and now you've been aboard the Brass Butterfly for 4 more days on your way back to Almar. That means 8 more days have passed, which, if the math adds up, which it probably does, Amavi should be resurrecting in 6 days in the city of Almar. You all are aboard this Brass Butterfly sailing back towards the city of Almar. In fact, at this point, you can see her tall buildings. You can see this massive cathedral of Iramiel that is kind of the center point of the city, just stretching across acres and acres of land. You see these buildings, old and new. You see areas of the city that are stacked on top of each other. You see the massive imperial palace up on the cliffs up over the bay, and out in the water above, rising up above the palace, you can see the shape of this statue of Iramiel that is on this large cylindrical tower jutting up out of the water. So first off, what I want to ask Nari and the Boys 2.0, what, if anything, did you guys do specifically in Kalinium before getting aboard the Brass Butterfly and flying back to Almar?
Didn't we need to do something with Nari's axe?
That was already done.
Yeah, I thought we already did that. Like, we rewrapped that staff and made it an axe.
Got it. Okay. I'm just drawing blanks because I'm crazy. Okay.
Yeah. It's why we love you.
My axe.
All right. So anything else that anybody would do specifically?
Oh, yeah. Pine would check in with Temrid Jr.
Okay. Perfect. We can run that real quick. Anything else anybody else wants to do?
I would just send a message to Kira, just kind of summarizing what happened in the library and let her know where we're going.
All right, very good. Why don't you think about what your message would actually say, and then we will have her respond as well.
Hey, Richter, you should probably check in with that one librarian in the library of Cadriel.
Ooh. We could talk about our sword play, huh?
If that's all you got, man, you want one trick pony?
Yeah. I'm not very good at this.
The librarian Muriel, she was an attractive older lady, and you guys did kind of hit it off.
So now that you've hit it off, maybe you can just hit it.
Actually, I think the thought of actually sealing the deal kind of terrifies Richter.
Oh my gosh.
You should just take her for drinks or something before we
leave. If she flirted back, he would soil himself and run away.
But she did. So you've been walking around in crapped pants this whole time.
I mean, hey,
Don't worry. Roos has a fix for that. Happened to him once, too.
It did. It was unfortunate. Squire would be glad to clean your pants for you.
Huzzah!
While you're wearing them.
Yes, while you're wearing them.
Instantly, Roos can see Squire doing a breath and scrub on the codpiece on Richter's pants. Like a spit shine.
Okay, now it's canon that Richter is definitely wearing a codpiece.
I imagine anyone wearing armor is also wearing a codpiece.
Oh, that's true.
Okay, and then so and then anything else Roos want to do, or just get aboard this brass butterfly and sail back to Almar?
Roos is very interested in a business venture on some mustache cream, but he's going to hold off for now.
Roos, you should go to the library and research different foods that encourage earwax development.
Yes, I think earwax is the key ingredient to making the perfect mustache.
And in your research, you discovered that it's actually called cerumen.
Oh,
That's what it's actually called.
okay.
I think. Oh, shoot. Now I'm second guessing myself.
Quick,
Get in
Google
the
search.
comments.
if Paul got the wrong word for earwax, don't at us. He's a chiropractor.
No, actually, please do. I kind of want to know.
I'm pretty sure it's cerumen. Oh, gosh.
He's not an ear, nose, and throat specialist.
I am not. Although I did have to do ear irrigations in school. And
Oh.
so
That sounds delicious.
don't use cold water, because when it hits the tympanic membrane, your eardrum, it could knock you out. So,
Ooh.
Yes.
Wow.
all right. Pine, in the city of Kalinium, as you venture back from Avalan, you come back into a city that is turmoil is the wrong word. Definitely, it is at there is
It's at a crossroads, just like Bone Thugs and Harmony said.
sure yes exactly. People are in the streets. Diddly-da-day. So, I can't set myself up for a joke. That's terrible. Anyway, no, people are in the streets. There's like there is concern, and there is a lot of chatter. There's a lot of worry about the state of the country. And you also notice that as you arrive back into Kalinium, notice that there are more. There's a smattering of people in the city that may not have been allowed in before. You see workers. You see clothes that are not nearly as fine. You see dirty boots, that kind of thing. You see that the gates are open.
Lovable tramps.
Sure. Yes. You see every man. You see lots of wranglers, and also you see wranglers' poor cousin rustlers. You see lots of lots of.
Is that his cousin from Down Under?
It's his cousin from Bimart.
Rustlers.
Any Carhartts out there or not?
Oh, you know Carhartts. Anyway, but yeah, so the city of Kalinium seems to be at a crossroads, just like you said, Pine. As you venture into the city, you can see that there are more guards set up around the Abbey of Balance. You can see that there's rumors floating about in the city about the downfall of the six theocrats. You hear some saying that they've all turned in their badges of office. You hear some saying, no, it was just one. No, it was three. Nobody's been going in or out of the Abbey of Balance in the last 2 or 3 days. You hear rumors that Annette is in jail. You hear rumors that she has died in jail. You hear rumors that she was killed by another member of the Council of Six. One thing is for sure, the leadership of the country of Menorest is not in control. As you, Pine, find your son, Temrid Jr., you find him back out in Moraville in his kind of secret hideout, but you see that it is less secret than it was before. You see a lot more people coming and going. There is no show of secrecy, no show of like protection. You don't see the thugs kind of hanging out outside. You see people coming and going with letters.
The Bone Thugs?
Yes, the Bone Thugs. Yes, you see that it seems like everything is working in harmony for your son, Temrid Jr., and people are coming and going with missives and letters that he is writing. And as you come into the room, he stands up with a big grin on his face, clasps your hand, and pulls you in for a hug and says, "Father, we've done it."
Explain. You've done it, but now tell me what you're gonna do.
Gosh.
Father, you're larger than life. You're big, and you're so notorious in these parts.
I like it when you call me Big Papa.
He kind of pulls back from me. He says, your duel was enough to upset Annette to the point where she overstepped. I don't know why I'm telling you this, Father. Of course you would know, being a swordsman. You do not interrupt a duel. Duels are sacred in Menorest.
It's not done.
No, exactly. And then when she fought against the outcome, when she threw her temper tantrum, when she
attacked the people who were there. Like she lashed out in anger and frustration and despair.
He says, Father, Annette is no longer in power. There is an open seat, and I have been in talks, just as you suggested, with the Temple of Justice, with Asterman's clergy. And it seems there may be an opening. And while I may not fill that seat, I may be able to be an advisor, to help guide the new Marchioness or Marquis, whoever is chosen, of Asterman.
That's wonderful. I'm so glad that my mission of vengeance and redemption was able to help you in your mission of equality and freedom fighting. That's kismet.
It could not have worked out better. I mean, honestly, only 2 people died to bring about change in this country.
2 people?
Yeah, you may have heard some of the rumors.
There were so many rumors. I mean, there was the one about the secret dungeon under a pizza restaurant, and then there was the other one about how airship fuel can't melt steel beams.
Oh my gosh.
So I don't know what to believe anymore.
There was the rumor of lasers from space being controlled by some minorities.
Yeah.
Well, no, the rumors are abound out in the city, but no, the rumor of Annette's death is accurate. She did die in custody. I suspect foul play.
The fall from grace like that, she could take a lot of people with her. A lot of people who'd cooperated, collaborated. But it's still... the loss of life is a shame.
It is. But it's a fitting end for someone who supposedly was a follower of the Lord of Justice. And justice, I guess, has been met in her case. Father, I think that we can make a difference here in Menorest, and I owe it to you and to your friends. And who knows, next time you're here in the city, maybe you'll come and meet me in the Abbey in my new office.
I know you'll do great things here, son. I'm so proud of you. And I'm so proud that you're standing up for something so important, something you believe in, and that you're really making a difference in the lives of so many.
Thank you, Father. I learned it by watching you.
You all right?
I learned it by watching you, all right?
Who taught you how to do this stuff? Okay.
I had a great example, Father. I had a great example.
Man.
And with that, I think Pine and Temrid share another few moments of father and son camaraderie before Pine goes back into the city and meets back up with the rest of the group.
Yeah, I'd be sure to tell Temrid Jr. Like exactly where I'm going, why I'm going, and that it's a potentially bright future for Menorest, but the rest of the world, and Menorest included, still need attention.
Well, one thing you all have noticed too is that the tremors stopped. Once Avalon was defeated, the tremors stopped completely.
Nice.
Now, Nari, you wanted to send a message to Kira. What did you want to say in that sending as you hire somebody to send that message for you?
Wait, do I not have my cell stone anymore?
Oh, you do have your cell stone. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Yes, as you just send the message yourself.
Yeah, I was just going to bust that out. I was just going to say, Kira, the Heralds, they come back cyclically. We have to destroy them once and for all. Menorest is now our friend. We're heading over to Almar. See you soon. XOXO.
Pine will turn over to Richter and say, "That means hugs and kisses."
Oh, hugs and kisses. I'm really good at those. No, I'm not. I'm actually terrified of physical contact.
That's why you use such a long sword.
I'm not compensating for anything if that's what you're implying.
No, I'm implying that you try to keep everybody at arm's length. Everybody's
Some would
far from
say
you
it's
as
pretty
possible.
big. I don't know. Sorry.
Nari, you get a response back from Kira, and it says, Nari, I will see you sooner than you think. We are on our way to Almar to assist in any way possible. And that is the message you get back. All right. Anything else before you board the brass butterfly? I mean, this is all in the past because you are technically already approaching Almar. If there's nothing else you guys want to do, you guys...
How do the new floorboards look, by the way? They got replaced.
Because the blood had soaked into the boards and they had to change them. They are just a little bit lighter than the old, actually no, a little bit darker than the old boards because they haven't been bleached by the sun yet. But they look pretty dang nice.
Nice.
Pretty nice. I mean, whoever patched those boards up did a pretty good job.
That little patch of floor looks so good. Richter, you should cover this whole thing in blood and then imagine what the repairs will make this thing look like. It'll look brand new. More blood.
Could never have enough of that.
Blood for the blood god. Oh, wait, no, wrong game. That's Warhammer 40K. All right. You guys are aboard the Brass Butterfly, sailing over hills and forests. This time, as you go over the 2 dead zones, you are actually awake over both of them this time. So you do see the one line that stretches and heads northeast and southwest, and you also see the line that runs straight north and south. And as you follow those lines, you can see back up towards the mountains where you know Kelta must be, but way beyond the horizon. We're talking a couple hundred miles away at least. As you approach the city of Almar and you see these beautiful buildings, this massive cathedral, we are now back in real time as Gerard comes up and stands next to you on the gunwale and says, well, never thought I'd be back to Almar this soon, my friends, but here we are.
What?
What? What? I'm gonna come sell my wares in Almar.
Convenient.
I guess that makes perfect sense, yeah.
Well, see you later. As he goes down
Gerard,
below
I have a
decks.
business venture for you. And then Roos will chase him away.
Fantastic. All right. So the brass butterfly, it sails in low over the city, and just a little further to the south and east of this massive cathedral of Iramiel is the large tower, the Skyport. And the brass butterfly ties off to one of these long stone piers that juts out into the air over the rest of the city. And the brass butterfly ties off. You all disembark from this ship, head down the stairs or the elevator, whichever you prefer to take, and are now back out on the streets of Almar with its yellow brick roads. You can see from here, you're in kind of the nicer part of town. This is a place where a lot of people want to live. And here you are in the city of Almar.
Well, I think we have work to do.
Yeah, we've got to follow this yellow brick road.
All right. Well, you guys step out of the Skyport into the part of town called South Press. You know that there are a couple markets around. The Drawn Drapes is close by, and you are here in the city. As you actually step out of the Skyport, let's see, Roos, you hear a voice in your head. It's not a voice that you recognize, but you somehow know that this voice coming to you is actually from Teagish. And what it says is, "The blue is full, but the brown has stopped. How long until Amavi returns? I fear an intercession from the blue. When will you return?"
I'm here now. Amavi will return in the next few days. When can we meet? And by here, I mean Almar. And I think that's 25.
That's probably 25. Yeah, you get a message back after like 30 seconds, and it says, "You can meet me in Amavi's lair, or I can meet you at the house that we met in before."
Let's meet at the house. And that's it.
That's it. No message back. So that would be then at Richter's house.
let's take the secret way there. I think we may have earned the ire of Bartaz last time we were here. He may be on the lookout for our party.
Yeah, that's probably a wise idea. Let's go this way. Richter will kind of lead them back through some of the side streets on kind of a windy path until he can find an entrance to the sewers, and then we'll duck down into those.
Perfect. Yeah, that doesn't take you long to figure out how to get back to your home.
These sewers, I missed the smell.
My favorite way to travel.
And just as a description too, when we left the city, Richter had the house kind of locked up and closed up. So all the furnishings and everything are kind of covered in cloth, drop cloth and drapes and things in preparation for basically abandoning the house for an indefinite period of time.
So basically, we're coming into an old spooky haunted house. Ghosts.
Zoinks.
Ruh-roh, Raggy.
Jinkies.
I'm Daphne. I don't know what she says.
So Daphne says, "Jeepers."
Oh, and what does Fred say? Traps.
Yes, traps. Come on, gang.
Yeah, there you go. All right. As you venture through the sewers, these old familiar sewers. Actually, first off, as you are heading towards the sewers, passive perceptions at this point are high enough. You all feel, just walking through the city, it feels different. There's something different here in Almar. Last time you were here, when Amavi was still like in control, there was that feel, that buzz of like sleeplessness, tiredness. There was that kind of hum in the air of a voice, barely heard or not quite audible, that was haunting everyone's dreams. That is not here anymore. That voice, that feeling is gone. It has since been replaced with this unease. This unease as you walk through the city, you see more people than normal. You see a lot of people dressed in many different styles. Now, Almar has always been this large metropolis where people from all over Pavantis come because it is the largest city on all of Pavantis. But you see it more, and you don't see. You would expect to see people dressed in their finery from other places, but here you see people dressed in all manner of clothing, from the very, very expensive to the very, very cheap to the handmade. Obviously from different places around Pavantis. I was going to say around the globe, but Ruth still is not convinced that Pavantis is a globe. From all across the plane of Pavantis. And you see there is this uneasiness, not just like amongst the Almarians with all these new people coming to town. It is just this feeling of these people in the city, moving about the city. You see little like shacks and tarps and things leaned up against buildings, and people just camping anywhere, setting up their homes, setting up their places, what's that word for object? Oh, their possessions. There we go.
Their trappings and belongings.
Exactly. They have brought them all with them that they could carry, and they are here in Almar. And one thing that you can all hear, just kind of this buzz in the conversations going on here in the city, you hear the name Iramiel, and you hear the word inevitability, and you hear soon. You hear people standing up on corners preaching inevitability, not the prophet Mordecai that you had run into before. These are numerous, and on every third corner, there's somebody new standing up and preaching. And you see Almarian citizens walking by and ignoring it. And you see a lot of these folks from all around Pavantis who have recently come to the city. You see them listening. You see them nodding in approval. You see them making the sign.
They're like, yeah, that does make sense. We should have an orgy.
You see them making the sign of Iramiel, which, as I recall, way back when in episode 1, wasn't it the Napoleon Dynamite butterfly.
Yes, it
Or
was.
yes,
The
that's what
bird.
they do.
Yeah.
They do it across their chest, right? They take their hands together to make the bird across their chest, representing the wings of Iramiel. That is the feeling here in Almar as you get back. You've only been gone for, I think, 12 days. You find the entrance into the sewer, away from prying eyes, and you venture through the sewer. One thing you do, actually, why don't you guys all make perception checks as you're moving through the city, through the sewer?
Oakley dokley.
Pine rolled an 11. It was a perception check, so I was destined to roll an 11.
Nari
That's true.
rolled a 27.
Roos got a 19. He's a little distracted.
And Richter got an 11.
Richter and Pine, you two are kind of talking about kind of. I imagine you guys are still kind
Swords.
of. Yeah, you're still kind of living up that whole victory you guys had at the arena. 8 days ago, at the dueling grounds.
And then I was like, Psha, and he was like, no. And I was like, yeah, remember that?
Dude, you cut his hand clean off. That's so metal.
I know. And this is a rapier. It's for stabbing. It's
and you can almost hear in the air around these two as they're talking, I am immortal. I have inside me blood of kings.
Yeah.
But Roos and Nari, as you guys are traveling through the sewers, you see less, but definitely signs of people down here as well. You see, little areas where people have, set up like some bedrolls off in the corner. And you see maybe here and there a little shelter built out of a tarp or out of a blanket, just to kind of give themselves some privacy. And as you wind your way towards Richter's home, there's nobody close necessarily to his home, but moving through the sewers may not be as invisible as you once were. As you find the staircase up to the basement of Richter's home, you come through the trapdoor and through the secret shelf in one of the rooms in his basement. And as you come out into the main area of this basement, this cold stone basement of Richter's home, you can see that already standing on there is a well-dressed man in Barastian style with his skin covered in scales. He's got these small spectacles on his snout. It looks like he is looking at some papers, and he's got a quill out as it looks like he's either writing some notes or he's kind of going over some notes. And he sees you all enter as he sets the quill down and stands up and says, my friends, I am glad you're here.
Have you been talking to Gerard? That's what he says.
No, he does not say my friends. He says, my friends.
Oh, yeah, right.
It's the inflection.
You guys, my accents are great. You heard my Australian accents already today and my Arnold Schwarzenegger accent a couple of months ago. Teagish and Gerard are two different people. Anyway.
Mr. Pine, Teagish looks nothing like Gerard.
That's true.
It's so true.
It's true. Teagish wears a more blousy shirt.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Well, welcome back to Almar. Did you just get in?
And glasses. Are those glasses? I can't tell.
Yes, he's got spectacles on his snout. I did describe that specifically.
Wait, the dragon people in your world have testicles on their snout?
It's very impractical.
I mean, if that's what you're into,
They're Balchinians.
Oh my goodness.
Was that from Men in Black 2?
Men in Black 2.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyway.
Sorry. Continue, Paul.
Did you just get in to the city?
Yes, just now.
Hey, and I wanted to thank you. The contract I put out to find my son, it worked. It kind of drew him out of hiding, and I've been in contact with him now, so we can close that one out.
He picks up the quill again and he writes a little note on the bottom of this paper, and he says, "Thank you. I appreciate that."
No, I thank you. And you rendered an amazing service, and I will recommend the Howling Talon for all of my bail jumping and
criminal endeavors
and mercenary needs. Yes.
Oh my
yes.
gosh. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. There are others out there.
You're a regular Dog the Bounty Hunter.
We we had a run-in with Farron on the way out to Colinium, but I don't know if he's alive or not. We left him in the middle of nowhere.
He should have at least survived the fall.
Yes, he should have at least survived the fall from the airship.
I'm sad to hear that he did not hold up to his end of the bargain. I cannot say that I am surprised. But I think we have more pressing matters. I sent you a message, Roos. The blue gem on the wall in Amavi's lair. It is filled. It is full.
Then we can anticipate whatever that herald is to be returning here shortly.
Well, I can imagine you filled me in a little bit. We've had fire, we've had stone, we've had wind. I'm guessing blue is water.
What?
Long ago, the 4 elements lived in harmony.
He says, so, yes, I imagine that we can expect another herald soon, and Amavi should resurrect in 4 days? 6 days?
Oh, my goodness, we should warn the people in the north. We've already told them that the Herald of Wind may return, but if there's a herald that's coming after those who seek to thwart inevitability, they may be targets just as we are.
Well, the white gem is still at not quite full. So,
right, but what I'm saying is if the water herald is looking for the people fighting inevitability, then our friends up north may be in danger as well from the water herald.
well, I wanted to give you a rundown of what is happening here in the city as well. We have had an influx of new people moving into the city. We've had an influx of acolytes and zealots of Iramiel and of inevitability. They smell the change coming. They can feel something about to happen, and they have been drawn here by the dozens, by the hundreds.
Yeah, I think we saw them on our way in. It was clear that there were a lot of churchy types, not the kind of church I want to go to.
Yes, it would appear that the cancer is spreading in Almar.
He says, there have been some run-ins, there have been some skirmishes, there have been some deaths, some stabbings, even some disappearances already in the city. The city guard have not been able to keep it under control.
Has it been wild and mob, indicative more of kind of a chaotic mob-like mentality, or has there been any sort of pattern or direction to the killings and kidnappings and other occurrences?
Not that we have found, but there have been missives sent out by both High Speaker Lady Nicolette St. Clair as well as Low Speaker Marilla, and seeking to take back control of this city. But these new folk who have entered, they don't answer to anybody. They don't have an organized leadership, and yet they're all on the same page. Does that make sense?
They're getting marching orders from somebody, and that somebody may not be a person, but maybe a herald or an angel or, whatever's behind that door.
Or apple bottom.
Yes.
I was going to say, it makes more sense perhaps than you even realize.
That was cryptic.
Ooh, spooky.
Would you care to expound?
Do you know something?
Well, I mean, just that, we've seen Iramiel speak with people and tend to influence the behaviors of people. It seems kind of on brand for it to be perhaps guided by the supernatural.
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
Zoinks.
You've been kind of helping monitor the chamber Amavi was in, and the obelisk there.
Yes.
Has there been any attempt by these people to venture down there as well, to meddle or to frustrate the protection of that area?
There have been a few. We have actually mapped out many of those secret tunnels under the city at this point. We've been able to follow some of them and determine where they actually lead. There's actually one that goes to Eudoxia University. There's one that will pop out behind a painting in the gallery. You guys got so wrapped up in the statue. You guys were so convinced it was the statues that you guys didn't look at any of the paintings on the walls or anything like that. It was actually a pretty cool puzzle, I thought, but it's all good. You guys managed to find your way down there. He says there is even one in the ancient baths. Many different twists and turns. We have found people down there. They do not seem to be under the control of Amavi, like under any kind of mind control, at least not overt mind control, like you saw, as you explained when you were down there before fighting the Herald. But definitely followers of Iramiel. And when they are confronted, they flee like rats from a ship.
Did any of these paths you've mapped lead to the harbor, lead toward the pillar with the statue in the harbor?
We did not find any tunnel, any path to the statue. I can tell you where they all come out. We found one actually goes all the way out to the Colosseum outside the city walls.
Ooh.
There is another that pops out in Gadaver's shrine, far up in the old quarter. And close by that, another entrance is at the gallery. We have entrances in the cathedral. We have an entrance in not just Eudoxia, but also in the basement of the faculty housing there at Eudoxia. There is an ancient bath entrance, and there is even an entrance in the Church of Lady Zanlius, which you guys would know is like, she's like the goddess of, or the lady of like love, like not lust like Lord Radriel, but like of actual like motherly love or like intense compassion, that kind of feeling. And then he says, and the last we found is it actually leads to the Imperial Palace deep in one of the dungeons.
Well, then I guess I assume that the Crystal Gate is still our best lead at a way to enter that pillar. Which we, by the way, have an additional key to put in there. With one from the north, from the Herald of Wind, also on its way, apparently. Some dashing, strong, young leader of the people there said that he was going to bring it down. Probably the greatest warrior.
How does Nari feel as Pine keeps talking?
Nari is scoffing loudly, but like not going to necessarily interrupt him, but shooting him very glaring looks.
I mean, I would imagine Nari's got to be a little bit proud. It is her brother that he's talking about, right? I mean, maybe not. Maybe not. He's kind of an ass.
Yeah, I think he's a little bit kind of like gloating for it.
Oh, gosh,
honestly, like he's the best that they've ever produced, except for Nari. But she does not living in the mountains anymore, so I don't count her as among their greatest warriors.
Oh my God, get out of here, Pine.
She's one of the greatest warriors in all of Pavantis.
Walking it back.
She did single-handedly take out the last Herald.
Yes. Oh, yes, she did. I mean, Roos and I were on a rope.
Yes. Well, here's something else I realized. Thinking back, Roos didn't even need to climb the rope. He could have walked down the side of the tunnel.
I know. I totally forgot about that.
Oh, you guys, you got to remember your magic items. Roos can walk on walls. Nari, you're immune to critical hits.
Oh my gosh. Oh, all right. Well, Tigish says, that's all there is to report from me at this point. I actually must be getting back to Howling Talon. There's a lot that needs to be done in the city, and the Senate has actually requisitioned Howling Talon to help with at least patrolling the city and keeping some of the streets safer than they have been since you've been gone.
Has there been any word on Bartaz?
Bartaz appears to have taken to ground.
Okay. Obviously, he's no friend of ours or yours, and we very publicly potentially made him an even greater enemy. So it's nice to know he hasn't acted yet.
If you will excuse me, I best be leaving. If you need me, I will be at the Howling Talon field office. Roos, you can get in touch with me with your crystal.
I appreciate that, sir.
And then he goes up the stairs and leaves the building.
Are you guys impressed with me? Paul said, since you've been gone and I didn't even break out into song.
I actually am impressed.
I was going to, and I'm like, no, I got to keep, we can't keep going up there.
Still moving on. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Oh, I can breathe for the first time.
Well, what are you guys going to do? You are here in the basement of Richter's home. It sounds like you have a little bit of time potentially to prepare before Amavi gets here. And you know that at least Tikris is on his way here from the Glass Mountains.
I don't have anything in particular that I need to accomplish. I suppose we wait until those from the Glass Mountain arrive, and then we head down to Amavi's lair.
You want to wait to put the key in till they arrive then? Do you want to hold on to that key for that long, or do we want to, put it someplace safe, namely a giant gate that won't relinquish it?
That's a good idea. We should get that done.
Yeah, we could do that.
No, honestly, the only other thing that I really wanted to potentially do would be just to check in with the high speaker and the low speaker, or as I call them, the tweeter and the woofer. Because one's a speaker that does the high tones, and the other one's a speaker that does the low tones. Get it? Like a car stereo.
Oh my god.
All right. Well, yeah, that can be potentially arranged. So where are you guys going to go right now? What's the order of business right this second?
I say Gate, and then maybe Gerard. I know we were just on an airship with him, but I don't think yet. I want to give him a day or two to replenish his supply so that we can get some more of those potions and see if he has any other interesting items that might be of value to us.
I think that sounds reasonable.
I mean, it's the beginning of a chapter.
I feel like it's going to be a big fight, so that makes sense.
Wait. So, Amavi will be returning in 6 days. The Herald of Water also will probably be arriving sometime soon. I think we should scope out a place that would be safe for that to happen.
Perhaps one of the entrances, he said, was at the Colosseum?
Yes.
Preferably somewhere with as little water as possible.
Well, the problem is we're on the coast. Probably could bring water. I mean, oh, geez. Could you imagine if the Herald had the ability to bring in like a tidal wave from the sea?
It could be devastating.
Paul, how far is the Colosseum from the seaside?
From the seaside, I mean, if you're looking at the city map, it's about as far away from the bay as you can get and still be like within kind of the urban areas. It's on Bloody Row, between Baltor Village and Westway Village, outside of the city gates, kind of on the furthest west reach of the suburbs. But that's still within 2 miles of the bay.
Well, I do like what you're thinking there, Richter. What were you thinking as far as the Colosseum? I like where you're going.
Maybe more like 4 miles, sorry.
If we're going to engage in combat, it seems like that might be the most advantageous place to do it. There's probably ample space there to have a fight with minimal collateral damage.
And we can sell tickets.
I love money.
Is this Colosseum, is it still in use, or is it like a ruin?
No, it is kind of a ruin, but they still use it. So, I mean, it's classic, the Roman Colosseum, as in the one in Rome, not as in like other, Colosseums. But it looks like it has been around for, hundreds of years. It's fallen into disrepair somewhat, but it is still definitely used for occasional shows, occasional battles, gladiatorial combat, that kind of thing.
We could even sell merch.
Yes, like T-shirts and steins, but not hats or scrubs. No scrubs.
Steins for your Fosters.
Okay, we don't know when he's coming, or we don't know when this herald is coming. So it might behoove us to see if we can stay somewhere close to that Colosseum, maybe within the tunnels there, or maybe we can get permission from the speakers to camp out there. The only problem is it kind of makes us stationary and also out in the open. So if, for example, Bartos catches wind of where we may be, combat could happen there with him and his people as well.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily sure I love the idea of getting permission to stay someplace and having our whereabouts be that well known.
Yeah, I should have known. You seem like the kind to just squat.
Hell yeah. I know my rights.
So what are you guys doing right now? You guys going to go and put the key in the hole? Or are you guys going to hang on to that key? Or what are you going to do?
I think we should go deal with the key first.
Yeah, let's have this conversation. Let's be having this conversation while we are traveling to the spire.
Well, the only way that you know how to get in there and out of there that you know of is you've heard of other places, but it's kind of difficult to find these entrances. So you head back to the Cathedral of Iramiel and head down through the basement. As you guys get to the Cathedral of Iramiel, actually, let me take you there. As you arrive at the cathedral, you can see more than other places around town. You see more and more of these out-of-towners who are camping outside of the Cathedral of Iramiel. You can see families. You see husbands and wives with their children. You can see them all crowded together, eating scant rations, listening to somebody preaching inevitability. You can see other people who are walking around amongst this group with clubs or with swords. Not necessarily warriors, but looking to protect these zealous pilgrims from anyone who might try to push them around. It seems like this is some sort of a community starting to build up, and it seems that the Cathedral of Iramiel has kind of become their base of operations. As you approach the front of the cathedral, you can see that the doors are they're shut, but they're askew, as if somebody has actually kind of pushed them open to the point where now they are basically broken. So it seems that more and more people have been making their way into and out of this cathedral.
I don't feel as comfortable going in here now. But we gotta do this.
You think we could blend in as pilgrims? Act super casual?
Last time we were here, I tried to pretend to be a follower of Iramiel, and it did not go well. Richter was a rat.
That's the true part.
Yeah, no, honestly, we'll just push through, or not push through, but just act confident, right? We belong here, right? Just fake it till you make it. And who has the key?
I think Nari does. Yeah.
Let's be fair. Nari deserves to hold on to that key.
Yes, she did. Yeah. Nari, hold on to that key tightly.
Okay.
All right. I'll lead the way.
Okay, I'll follow.
Okay. As you walk into the Cathedral of Iramiel, you can see, I think maybe counter to what you expected. Inside, it seems like things have actually been picked up and cleaned up a little bit. You can see that where once candelabra had been knocked over and candles have been spilled across the floor, you can see now candelabra have been lifted up and actually set back in place. Candles have been replaced and lit. You can see that broken vases and vases and urns have been swept up and cleaned up. And you can see that dead bodies that were left here are no longer here. It seems like people have actually been cleaning up the cathedral a bit. even I don't know if you remember this from last time, it was a long time ago, there was one of the chandeliers had fallen from the ceiling. That has been actually moved off to the side. You can still see where it is. But you see people milling about in here. It's people of all shapes and sizes. Humans, elves, dwarves, or this world's equivalent of those different groups of people moving about.
What the hell's an elf or a dwarf?
Short, squatty folk with beards, and then you see these tall, thin folk with long ears. You can see
soft paws, yeah.
Soft
paws and copper beards.
Soft paws and chamber pot salesman. Yes. But yes, you can see. This is what it looks like in the Cathedral of Iramiel at this point. Nobody is trying to bar your entry. You do get a few looks, and you can see that there is somebody actually at the far end of the cathedral. There is a statue of Iramiel still, and there are candles lit in front of him. But there's also this altar in front of that statue, and you can see that there is a man standing on top of the altar, and there are maybe 10 or 12 people standing and sitting around listening to him as he preaches. From this distance, I will tell you right now, it is not Mordecai, the prophet of Iramiel.
Can we hear what they're saying at all?
And they're just preaching. They're not like sacrificing humans or anything.
It doesn't look like it.
That happens after dark.
Actually, and yes, Nari, you can hear what they're saying. This cathedral is built with acoustics in mind, and the voice from this altar kind of, I was going to say booms down the nave towards you, but I wouldn't. It doesn't actually boom, but you can hear it as almost as if the person is standing not necessarily right next to you, but close by. And it's the same old tropes you've heard from other acolytes and zealots of Iramiel. You hear, the end is close, the end is nigh. There is no point in fighting it. It will happen. It's best that we embrace it. Yes, and the angel will have his say, that kind of thing.
I was going to say something about invest in camping gear and move out to the desert, but...
Sell your 401ks and buy a Polaris Razor.
Well,
side by side.
It's not even a very original sermon. You think they would mix it up on occasion.
And then you hear the preacher going over the evening schedule. So first the sermon, then the human sacrifice, and then the orgy.
We just gotta wait for the good stuff.
Orgy.
Punch and snacks will be provided.
Yes.
Coffee and bars.
You are free to go into the basement and follow the path you followed before. In fact, I'll just direct you guys there. As you move...
We will be very secret about the code to get through the door, though.
Okay.
Like it's like I'm putting in my pin at the ATM, like covering it with my hands and stuff.
Gotcha.
So no prying eyes can figure it out.
Nari will kind of lean over casually, just kind of hiding him behind her. Super chill, casual, like...
Well, as you guys move through the basement of the cathedral like you did before, you get back down to the catacombs area where there are, different servants and acolytes of Iramiel who have been buried down there in sepulchers and in tombs. And as you passed through there last time, you remember the ground was untouched. The dust was thick. Cobwebs and things had settled in around the tombs, and there was like one path that people had followed. Now it is a smattering of footprints everywhere. And actually, as you are down in the tombs, you see that there are people actually looking at some of these tombs down there. They are reading the inscriptions. You hear even more sermons down here in the basement. And as you move through the catacombs and then down into the living chambers of the acolytes of Iramiel, you can see that it looks like people have actually moved into some of those rooms of the different priests of Iramiel where they used to live down here in the basement. You can see that supplies have been restocked for food in the kitchen and in the eating area. And you do find the staircase going down to that room where there was the levers and the code. As you get down into that room where you remember last time you had to solve the puzzle that the puzzler had presented it before you, and you do see that there is there are three folks down here who are just randomly twisting dials and pulling levers, and then saying, talking about how this must be the final. What was I going to say? Oh, this must be the final trial before we can truly know Iramiel. And they're trying to find meaning in this puzzle, but they have no clue what they're actually looking for. As you guys come down here, they kind of give you wary looks, and they make the sign of the Angel of Iramiel, the Napoleon Dynamite bird across the chest.
Can we have a turn there?
They look at you wary because you did not return their...
Oh no, I did see. Oh yeah, see the birds. Yeah, birds. Yeah.
No, your left hand goes like this a little bit more. You kind of do that with your fingers.
And I got to put all of them out, not just the middle one. Okay.
Yes, yeah. It really throws off the facade if you just use the middle finger.
I'm sorry, folks. Arthritis, you know.
I knew you were going to blame it on arthritis. I knew it. Okay, they kind of move aside, but they're watching you warily and with interest as well.
Well, you know, this is a trial, so you'll need to figure this out for yourself. So turn around.
Bruce makes that hand cupping motion that people do to block their codes on, the credit card pin pad thing.
Nari kind of glances at her axe and glances back at them.
As you are doing that, one of them the two of them turn around and start going back up the stairs, but they keep giving you backwards glances and with angry, irritated faces. And a third one, before they leave, they turn around and they point at you and they say, "Iramiel will have his say," and then turns around and walks away.
Yep.
You put in the code and the gate clinks open, and then I'm guessing once you get through, you close it again with the lever on the other side.
Yes.
As you make your way through familiar tunnels, through these, it almost looks like ancient streets of the Almar that used to be, that is below the current city of Almar. You come to the more open area where you had the confrontation with the zombies of Amavi. I don't know what else to call them. The enthralled of Amavi.
The best damn bartender in town.
Yes, he was. That spooky boy went up and just vaporized. You move through. You can see that bodies have been moved. They are no longer there. You can still see areas where maybe that might be a little bit of blood from the fight. There might be a little scrap of clothing that may have gotten left behind from somebody else who was defeated down here by you. But you move through that area back up north and west, exiting this area back into another tunnel, and then you find yourself entering the chamber of Amavi, just as you remembered it last time you were here. You come into this large square room, and in the center of this room is basically another room with another thinner, more broken down wall. And inside of that thinner room, you do see this massive ziggurat through these caged doors. And you see atop the ziggurat, sticking 35 feet up into the air, you see the top of this black obelisk. Last time you saw it, it had already lost its power. And now it still looks to be a dull black with no power coursing into it from around the city. And you see on the far side, on the north wall, you can see this large wall panel with crystals on it. You see on this panel, you can see that there is a white crystal that's up at the top, and it is almost full of energy. Its status bar is almost full. It's almost completely downloaded this MPEG.
It's been hovering at 99%.
Yes, exactly. And unbeknownst to everybody else, it is basically like 2 rounds away, like 12 seconds away from filling. Then you can see that off to the right, you see the red crystal is also full. You can see on the left side, there is a brown crystal that is a little over 3/4 of the way full, but it has stopped filling. You can see right there in the center is a purple crystal that is, it's closer to full than the brown one is, but it's still a little ways away, maybe 80 or 85% full. And you can see down at the bottom, you see this blue crystal is now glowing and pulsing with energy as it has filled up completely. You also see underneath the red crystal, underneath the purple crystal, You see 2 keys have been entered into these small keyholes right below each of the crystals.
All right, well, we have the key.
Here goes nothing, and Nari will take out the key and put it in.
As you put the key into the keyhole, just like before, you can feel it fit in perfectly, and then it's almost like there's a magnet on the other end that just kind of pulls it out of your hand that last, quarter inch, and it sticks into place. And now there are 3 keys in this wall. You stand here in the chamber of Amavi, I imagine reliving some of your past battles. The battle with Saros, the Herald of Fire, the battle with Amavi, the Herald of the Mind, and the battle with Avalan, the Herald of the Earth. And realize, looking at the crystal with its blue pulsating power, that eventually you very well may have to face the Herald of Water. We are going to step back and take a 20,000 foot view?
Let's say 100 yards.
100 yards. As you stand down here in the chamber of Amavi, for our listeners, suddenly imagine you are looking down upon the party. Suddenly, the camera zooms way out above the city of Almar. You can see the walls. You can see the Colosseum.
Is a globe. Sorry.
You can see the horizon, and it actually curves. Go figure. No, you can see the Colosseum off to the west. You can see the Imperial Palace up along the cliff. You can see the statue of the Angel of Iramiel. You can see, as the camera keeps rising and rising and rising, until, if you're looking at a TV screen, the city of Almar is, if you were to split the screen into 9 equal squares, it's right in the center. It's in the Alice from the Brady Bunch square. Okay, that is where the city of Almar is. You can see the bay, you can see the water, and off to the north and the east, you can see the water of the bay suddenly begin to pull way back, exposing, well, not the ground, but still the sea level drops dramatically. Anyone looking out at the bay, looking at the statue of Iramiel, sees suddenly much, much more of that tower is visible as the water level drops. And as they look further past the statue, they can see way out in the waters of the bay a massive wave approaching the city of Almar. As people realize what is happening, they begin screaming and running, trying to get somewhere safe from this wall of water that is going to hit this city. You see people running into their homes and locking doors. You see people climbing to the top story. This wave is not, it is a very large wave, not tsunami large, but a massive tidal wave. And just as it approaches the city at breakneck speeds, people realize it is going to hit with tremendous force. And anyone there right along the coast is in for a very bad day. Suddenly, this wall of water hits the cliffside, engulfs the gallery, engulfs the Imperial Palace, flows up and over the shipyards, even goes as far in as Smitchy's Bazaar, before it finally breaks and a full third of the city has been hit by this massive wave. But that's not all, for now the water floods and flows all throughout the city as this tidal wave recedes back out into the bay, leaving broken homes, broken bodies, and destruction in its wake. Back down in Amavi's lair, Nari and the boys, you don't know that has happened, except for this loud rushing that you hear coming from all around you, echoing into this chamber from these caves, from these tunnels, from the east and from the west and from the south. But the noise you hear most is this rumbling through the walls to the north, as suddenly through the tunnels entering into Amavi's chamber, water rushes in, and before you know it, I will actually, first off, I'll have everyone make a dexterity save. Difficulty 18, actually.
Okay, everybody, you get to add +5 now because I was generous and upped my charisma instead of my dexterity.
Oh,
Nice.
man. I needed that +5.
I'm going to invoke my luck because I rolled a 4, so even with that, I did not do well, and that is even worse. So I did not pass.
Yeah, Richter rolled a 12. With the +5, it puts him at 17, so he would normally fail, but he's going to use a charge of his Ring of Evasion.
And Pine rolled a 20, a dirty 20.
Oh, so Pine saved. Is Pine the only one that
Roos
saved?
got a 13 plus the 5 to 18, so I save as well.
Okay. As this water comes rushing in and hits you guys, it hits with tremendous force. In fact, everyone who failed, oh my gosh, will take 36 damage as it tumbles you along and you slam against walls. You get pushed up against this wall here in the center of the chamber. It beats you up. Anyone who saved takes half damage and manages to keep their footing. And by the time the water stops flowing in,
Roos doesn't take any because it was a dex save.
by the time this water stops flowing into this chamber, you are standing in, well, for Pine and Richter and Roos, it is mid-thigh. This puddle, this pool of water that has now filled Amavi's chamber. As you guys all get up to your feet and kind of shake your heads and look around at all of this incredible destruction that just hit you, suddenly you hear coming from all around you, and yet you can't quite place where it is actually emanating from, but you hear a voice, and the voice you hear is it's not common. It's not Almarian. It's not Ustranian. It's not a language that any of you speak unless somebody took a new language while I was not paying attention.
Unless somebody has a scarf from the beginning of the game.
Is someone going to pull up their scarf over their ears?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
I might miss the first few words, like as I hear him start speaking, but
you hear it start speaking, and you hear it actually repeat over and over. And the words you hear growing stronger and stronger with each repeating is, "Rain and sea, the blood of Pavantis. Take this blood and vitalize the end." And it gets louder and louder. And all of you can hear this voice. I want to know what you guys are doing at this very moment. Here, give me 1 second. Let me move you guys over to that chamber real quick.
guys, I think the Herald's here, and I think she had an accident.
Or she's very excited to see us.
Oh my God. It can be both.
All right. As you guys are hearing this voice and you're hearing this chamber is now flooded with water, what do you guys want to do? You imagine that something is coming and you have just a short amount of time before it arrives.
I'm going to hand Nari the potion of embiggening that I bought from Gerard. So if you want to take it, you can basically cast Enlarge on yourself.
Oh, sick. Okay.
And hopefully that might even help you trudge through the water. I know what you said, it was up to our mid thighs. I figure for Nari, it's like making like the soles of her shoes wet. But if she was extra big, then it would be even cooler.
Hell yeah.
It makes everything in here, it's going to make it difficult terrain. And Nari, if you do grow, I will say that it's not going to be difficult terrain for you anymore. If you do take the embiggening potion. Okay, so Pine, that's what you do. You hand Nari a potion. Are you going to move or are you going to stay put? Right now I have you guys all kind of standing up near that that north wall where all the keys are.
I think what Pine would then attempt to do would find some higher ground, so probably head toward the spire, the stairs of the spire.
As you guys recall, actually, you know what? So, believe it or not, because of the force of the water, you see that much of the walls have actually tumbled down. The walls of this inner chamber, you see that a lot of them have actually tumbled and fallen, and now it is even easier to access the ziggurat in the center of this chamber.
Yes, I would just try to get out of the water so that I can have a little bit more movement.
Yeah, you go up just like 5 feet up the stairs of the ziggurat. Yes, perfect. Roos, what are you going to do?
Roos is going to use a new ability. He takes his chakram and he'll throw it up to the top of the ziggurat.
Yes.
And it hits the top of the ziggurat and Squire catches it. And then in that moment, Squire and Roos switch places. So now Roos is standing at the top of the ziggurat.
Okay, and then Squire is standing down in the water, and Squire kind of like looks down at his, like lifts up a shoe and looks at his shoe, and
It's like, now my pantaloons are wet.
He's like, you can tell he's very disappointed because now his pants and his shoes are ruined. And then he remembers that he is literally like a ghost, and he just kind of disappears for a second. All right, so Nari, you took the potion. Is that what you're going to do?
Yeah, I will take the potion and then get as close to this column as possible.
Going to move up the ziggurat as well. Very good. And Richter, in your basically one turn, what are you going to do?
I'm going to say Lord Astraman's flaming wrath, herald of blazing judgment, and I'm going to summon the kind of avatar of Lord Astraman, the flaming avatar of Lord Astraman.
Damn, though.
look at them cheeks.
look at them cheeks.
It's giving me Dr. Manhattan vibes, but just red.
That's what I'm seeing Johnny Storm.
It is Johnny Storm, actually.
Okay, I can see that.
So okay, so Richter, where do you want to summon this fiery ally? Does the fiery ally, do they float? Do they fly, or are they standing on their own feet? Because that's also going to make a difference.
This one will be flying. Yeah, this is going to be. Okay. It'll be the devil version of this.
Okay.
So it has flight and it shoots fireballs for its attack.
Fantastic. Very good. Okay. And then Richter, where are you going to go as you have basically one round of movement before something happens?
I'll just kind of stand right here. Not on the ziggurat, just down in the water for now. I guess we'll see. We'll roll the dice and see how this goes.
Very good. As you all have now decided. Oh, and is this where do you want your spirit to be? Is that good? You should have control of that spirit. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit further to the east.
I am going to roll a 6-sided die to determine something. Here we go. What did I roll?
A 2.
Okay. As Richter kind of stands a little bit further to the east, Nari and Pine are standing on the north steps of the ziggurat. This fiery being that Richter has summoned forth is more on the east side of this inner chamber. From the west entrance into this chamber, you hear that voice, that unearthly yet somehow beautiful and melodious voice. Just fill your ears as suddenly, rushing through the tunnel entrance on the west side, this massive figure, you can only barely make out that a figure is moving under the water. And then rising up out of the water, you see this unearthly and beautiful shape rise up. It is slightly feminine in form, with,
if that's what you're into.
It's tentacle porn.
Hey, I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to judge.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know.
I've been watching Sex Education, and this is right up Lily's alley. Just needs to be an alien.
Rising up out of the water, you see this feminine form. It is skin, pink, skin, pinkish purplish skin, like that of maybe like a squid, but it is got this kind of long hair made out of tentacle. It has arms and legs that, as they end at the elbow, they turn into these masses of tentacles spreading out and hanging 10 or 12 feet long. As it rises up out of the water, you can see tentacles where its legs should be, spreading out, and not just 8 tentacles like an octopus or a squid, but dozens of tentacles as this being rises up, this unearthly yet beautiful form, looking at you as Yasaro, the Herald of Water, stares at you and is ready to defend this gateway and this obelisk. And that's where we're going to stop for tonight.
Jeez.
Wait, was this one directed by Guillermo del Toro?
Totally.
The most beautiful, tentacly, womanly monster comes up to you sensually and says hello.
I'm just thinking of Shape of Water.
I never saw that.
I mean, the practical effects are just astounding.
All right, I guess. Well, hey, thank you for playing, and
You're welcome.
We are right in. Yes, we are right into it.
Yeah, we're all doing this just for Matt. That's what we learned today.
No, just the jokes, just my jokes. I know that if I can get Matt to laugh, then I have succeeded. Because if I can get Matt to laugh, then I know it's a joke that I would like as well. Chapter 9 is starting off with a bang, as Yasaro, the Herald of Water, has made her appearance known. Anyway, welcome back to the city of Almar. Next time we're together, we'll see what happens.
Until then, I'm going to miss everybody. I'm going to miss everybody.
Go check out our Patreon. We have a lot of content up there. You can also check out, I do stream sometimes on Twitch, and we do have a shop. So go ahead and order your Dodecadork drip. We have some really cool t-shirts. Well, we keep talking about the Stein. There really is a Stein. It really does say the Keggery on it. From way back in Tabery. So if that's something you're interested in, it's a fantastic product. Anyway, we thank you for all of your support. And until we get together next time, we hope you have a great time.